A small garden can do more than grow food. It can color the patio, feed pollinators, perfume the kitchen, and return year after year. These 8 perennial flowers are beautiful enough for the front step and useful enough for tea, salads, desserts, and simple home cooking. But edible flowers demand accurate identification, so we will grow beauty without guessing. Before planting, use one rule that never changes. Eat only a flower you can identify by its correct botanical name, and that was grown specifically for food without unsafe chemical treatments. Do not eat florist flowers, roadside flowers, or an unfamiliar plant because it resembles something edible. Use only the edible part, introduce a small amount first, and check individual sensitivities. On this compact patio, the sun-loving plants stay in the brightest containers, while sweet violet gets the cooler shaded corner. The larger rose and daylily pots sit at the rear, leaving a clear path and keeping the harvest close to the kitchen. English lavender, Lavandula angustifolia, brings fragrance, color, and a remarkably long season to a sunny container. Use a gritty, fast-draining mix and keep the crown out of wet mulch. Water deeply, then allow the upper soil to dry instead of keeping the pot constantly damp. Culinary lavender is powerful, so the goal is restraint. A tiny pinch of buds can flavor shortbread, sugar, tea, or lemonade, but too much becomes bitter and perfumed. Buy a correctly named culinary plant from an edible source rather than assuming every ornamental lavender is suitable. In colder regions, protect the container roots and avoid waterlogged winter soil. Bee balm, Monarda digema, produces dramatic tubular flowers with a citrusy, sweet, mint-like character. It grows well in a large container with rich soil, regular moisture, and enough air circulation around the leaves. Full sun usually gives the strongest flowering, although light afternoon shade can help in very hot summers. Loose florets can brighten tea, fruit, salads, or a cold drink without overwhelming the dish. Keep the planting open rather than crowded, because humid, stagnant foliage can develop powdery mildew. Remove damaged material outside the video workflow, water at soil level, and use only untreated flowers from a correctly identified plant grown for eating.
On the bee balm. This condition is stable and localized to the low.
Anise hyssop, Agastache funiculum, is an upright perennial that fits a small patio without taking much floor space. Its leaves and lavender purple flower spikes have a gentle licorice and mint flavor that works in tea, fruit, yogurt, and simple desserts. Give it sun, well-drained soil, and moderate water while it establishes. A thin, airy mulch helps the pot hold moisture, but never bury the crown. Harvested florets should look like a casual kitchen ingredient, not a decorative flower arrangement. The flavor is distinctive, so begin with a small quantity. This is an edible agastache, not a reason to sample an unidentified plant with similar purple spikes. Sweet violet, Viola odorata, is the shade specialist in this design. Its heart-shaped leaves and small fragrant purple flowers prefer a cooler corner with moist, humus-rich soil. The flowers can decorate cakes, become violet syrup, or be candied in small batches. Correct identity matters here. Sweet violet is not the fuzzy-leaved African violet sold as a houseplant. Start with a named edible plant and avoid anything treated with systemic ornamental pesticides. In a container, do not let the mix dry completely during active growth, but keep the crowns above soggy soil. The modest flowers are most convincing when used sparingly and placed naturally, rather than in perfect patterns. Garden pinks, edible dianthus types from a trusted food-growing source, offer a light clove-like flavor and bright fringed petals. They need sun and excellent drainage, which makes a terracotta pot with a little horticultural grit a practical home. Use the colorful petal portion and remove the bitter white base before serving. A few petal tips can lift cucumber salad, butter, desserts, or cold drinks. Do not assume every carnation from a florist is edible, because ornamental flowers may have been treated for display rather than food. Keep the crown dry. Water the soil instead of the flowers, and use a small, irregular scattering so the final dish still looks like real home cooking. True daylilies belong to the genus Hemerocallis. Their buds and flowers are used in cooking, but true lilies are different plants and must never be substituted. Start with a correctly identified edible daylily from a reputable source, and try only a small cooked portion because some people are sensitive. A large stable container, rich soil, sun, and steady moisture support the clump without crowding the path. Already harvested buds can be sautéed like a seasonal vegetable, while petals add color in modest amounts. Leave enough foliage to feed the crown. The important lesson is not that every lily-shaped flower is food. It is that precise identification comes before any harvest. Roman chamomile, chamomile nobile, is a low perennial with fine leaves and small apple-scented flowers traditionally used for tea. It suits a wide, shallow container in sun or light shade, provided the mix drains freely. When newly added soil needs settling, press one visibly loose raised patch with the whole palm and four-finger pads. The soil should finish slightly lower and smoother. It should not remain unchanged or become hard-packed. Use correctly identified, untreated flowers and keep the serving modest. Roman chamomile should not become permission to collect unknown white daisies. In a small patio, its low trailing habit gives the taller flower pots a useful foreground layer. A culinary rose can become the long-lived anchor of an edible flower garden. Choose a fragrant, correctly identified, unsprayed rose, such as Rosa rugosa, from a source that understands edible use. Give it the largest pot, full sun, fertile, free-draining soil, and air around the foliage. Use the petals after removing the bitter white base. They can flavor syrup, sugar, jam, tea, or a sparkling drink, but a few petals are usually enough. Never use a florist bouquet or a plant treated with products not labeled for edible crops. Later in the season, suitable roses may also produce hips, giving one compact shrub more than one useful harvest. An edible flower garden succeeds when beauty and caution grow together. Begin with 2 easy plants that match your light. Learn their botanical names and use tiny harvests in familiar recipes. Over time, this small patio can provide color, fragrance, pollinator activity, and memorable ingredients without surrendering the path or the kitchen door. Subscribe to Homegrown for Keeps. Grow once, harvest for years, and cook what you grow.